Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Biltz and I'm an ADHD Teen Life Coach. For those of you who have not been in my community, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm very happy you're here. You're going to find lots of tips and tricks and strategies to help your teenager navigate school and home. So today I want to talk about, I feel, what is the number one life skill that is needed to really master in high school for our teenagers. And I say this because working with private clients when they're feeling really overwhelmed, I look at that as what's happening, like what is keeping them overwhelmed. And 9 times out of 10, it's because it's the situations when they have a lot of work, right? And maybe there's projects coming up, or maybe there's just a lot of homework, maybe they're studying for tests and they feel just overwhelmed. And so I step back as a coach and I think, okay, what is lacking here? And the skill set of breaking down the work is lacking, because here's the reality. When your teenager learns how to break down their work, they're going to be able to tackle any kind of work, even that 10-item planning page of things and to-do lists. And I'm not saying that every day there's 10 things to do. Maybe there is. That's not really ideal. But on those times when life feels really overwhelming, breaking down the work and chunking it out will be the best way to help your teenager to get started on the work, to feel like they have a plan and actually get motivated to do the work. So what I like to share with my students and my clients is, I feel like I'm going to give you a couple examples of how to break down the work. I feel the number one, whenever I ask them certain scenarios, is using numbers. And so what I mean by that, let's just say that you have a history project going on and it includes a slideshow and some sources and you've got to present it, and there's, photos, there's information, there's content, all those good things. And let's just say it's due in a week, right? And so you have all the elements of what the slideshow presentation is. One of the great ways of using numbers to break down the work is literally using numbers. So on Monday, I'm going to make 4 slides. On Tuesday, I'm going to find 6 images. On Wednesday, I'm going to find 4 sources, right? When you start using numbers to break down the work, it starts really sort of normalizing it. Like, oh, that sounds a lot better than working on my slideshow, which is how a lot of our teenagers and you may be writing in your, when you write down in your planner, work on slideshow. Well, we want to get a lot more specific. And so with numbers, it really helps getting specific. It sounds a lot easier if you need to read 3 pages in a theology textbook versus I have to read my theology. Reading theology is all fine and well, but that's a little vague. But when you look into your school platform and you realize there's only 3 pages, sounds a lot better. I'm going to read 3 pages. Another example of that is writing an outline when you have essays due and you have, your thesis statement and you have like your 3 different subjects and topics and things like that. Maybe you start with the topics that you know first and start writing on them, improper English there, writing them, right? So taking one day and I'm going to write on this one topic one day. Second day, I'm going to write the second topic, right? Sounds so much better. The other thing that I have also found when I'm working with high schoolers and they have to go back into their school platforms and watch videos, well, it makes it a lot easier when you know the length of the video. So there's a lot of times when I'm coaching and I share screens with my clients. Sorry, my phone just went off. When I share screens with my clients and they'll say, well, I have to watch a video tonight. I'm like, let's pull that up. And so by doing this, I will say, what are you noticing about the video? Because in their sweet little minds, it's like, oh, that video is going to be really long. And long could be 15 minutes, long might be 10 minutes. But when they pull it up and they actually look at it, it might only be 3 or 5 minutes. Huge difference, right? Like a huge difference. So being specific when you're actually breaking down your work into, I have to watch a 5-minute video, sounds a whole heck of a lot better than I got to watch a 20-minute video. And by doing that, it's going to help motivate getting the work done. And it's going to help really the relationship with time and having an idea of how long some of these assignments will take. So I love numbers for breaking down the work. I think it's the absolute number one skill set that is needed, because when you approach it from that perspective, if you have a chapter test on chapter 6 and there's 6.1 through 6.8, great way. You can do 6.1 on Monday, 6.2 on Tuesday, 6.3 on Wednesday. So much better than cramming all that in. And we all know procrastinating and trying to study the night before is not ideal, and it definitely doesn't help retain that information. So I love to use numbers. Another way of breaking down the work is by subjects. Some of our teenagers that I work with like to break it down by the subjects that they enjoy, which is great. That's awesome. Some of my students break it down by the grades that they're getting or the assignments that are needed. So there's a lot of different ways of breaking down the work, and that actually helps prioritize the work is there as well. So you're sort of killing two birds with one stone, which is always great. But my number one tip and skill set is learning how to break down the work and really using numbers, because 3 sounds a lot better than 15. Finding 4 sources sounds a lot better than, oh, I'm going to take hours to study and look for sources. Finding 6 images sounds a lot better than, oh, I've got to find all of these images. So getting specific is one of the best sort of strategies when it comes to breaking down the work. Okay, that's what I have for you today. If you like this content, hit subscribe and the little bell button to notify of when I release a new video. Thanks so much for being here, and take care. Have a good one.